thought I'd do a live stream so you guys have a chance to chat. You can just ignore me. I'm going to be mostly just driving and just playing music. I'm getting ready to head down south, basically to meet a friend. Actually, to hang out with somebody that I need to see. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and stream a little bit so you guys have some chance to chat, those of you who are on a computer or a phone. And we'll just play some music so you can just check out the traffic. It is like really cloudy here in this area today, so I don't know. It looks like it might rain. We've been getting a lot of really cold weather, sometimes wet recently. So, actually, as a matter of fact, it's raining right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch to street views and play some music so you guys can go ahead and chat on there. And I'll be posting the member video of the hamburger, the giant burger that I made the other day, later today. So look forward to that. And that video will probably run on regular YouTube on Monday. So enjoy the ride. What you're listening to is soundtrack from World of Warcraft. These are the music from the taverns. Feel free to chat with each other. We're all hanging out at the World of Warcraft taverns. Actually, the road right now you're looking at is some of the better parts of the road that we have in Florida. Most of Florida highway is always under construction, especially down in South Florida. This area right here, Brevard County that I'm going through right now, has some of the better roads, but it's also one of the most dangerous. Brevard County is like elongated, like Florida. So the road runs like, I think to go from one end of Brevard to another, I think it's like more than 70 miles, like 90 miles or something. Of the highway, I-95 runs through Brevard County, and it's one of the most deadly because of that, the length. Yeah, this is one of the better roads, believe it or not. Florida has crappy roads, especially South Florida. South Florida, always under construction, always backed up. And lately they've been redoing the roads and messing it up even more. Like they're doing weird things with the on and off ramps instead of, you know, like standard ramps that go on and off. They're making these weird ribbons and weird turns, and I think they're trying to make accidents, honestly, because when there's an accident, the state, the county, the area makes more money. You know, you got the police making money, you got the medics. I know it seems messed up, but that's what it seems like on my end. You know, just looking around here at the new on-ramps and stuff that they're putting on. Instead of making it like normal, where like if we were going to exit, we would take a right, you know, turn and exit off the ramp. They have you go under the bridge and then do some weird loop. And then when you come on, instead of just coming on, you have to go over the bridge, do some weird loop, and then merge in. And I'm like, I think it's designed to make accidents, because that's not how roads normally are. It's like instead of a straightforward on-ramp and off-ramp, you have to do some weird turns. And if you're used to regular on and off ramp, there's a likelihood you could crash. And even if you're not used to it, it just doesn't seem logical. I think Brevard County boasts one of the largest cities. I think the largest, I don't know if it's cities or area-wise. Yeah, I think it's area-wise, but not people-wise. I think Jacksonville has the largest area in all of Florida, but I think it's followed by Palm Bay, which doesn't seem to make sense, but Palm Bay is mostly empty. It is also the location of the compound where you saw me driving out there. They had housing developments that they abandoned. That's known as the Palm Bay compound. You can Google it if you want to learn more about it. Just Google Palm, P-A-L-M, Bay, B-A-Y, compound, C-O-M-P-O-U-N-D. That is one of the largest abandoned housing developments I've ever seen. It's got like more than 200 miles of roadway. It's not that I'm ignoring you guys that are chatting. I just cannot read. I'm driving, so I can read like when it's like 1 or 2 words, but if it's like a whole paragraph or something, I can't take the time to read. So right now we're still going through Brevard County. It's going to be a long ride to get out of Brevard County. Because as I said, Brevard County is extremely long. If you look on the map, you'll see that Brevard County is this big, long box almost. Viera is one of the newest cities around here. It's where it's considered one of the richer areas in Brevard County. They put up like pseudo mansions in Viera. But there's a running thing for the locals about Viera. They say that the people who live in Viera are like pretenders. The houses all look nice and new and everything, but I think everybody's still kind of poor. Although when you look at the city of Viera and all the buildings and stuff, it starts to look like South Florida. South Florida tends to go really fancy with their buildings and stuff. Brevard County used to be like a hickville, you know, nobody really out here, just cows. Even where the city of Viera is, it used to be nothing but a cow pasture. It was really weird because living in Florida, you know, when you're an outsider, you think that Florida is like all modern and high tech. But when I moved here in 1985, this area was dirt roads and cows. There were cows, literally cows out there in the fields. And even now, you know, where I'm living, it's used to be called, although they're trying to rename it, the Space Coast, because this is where the spaceships take off from. You know, Cape Canaveral, Cape Canaveral is located here in Brevard County. You would think it'd be high tech and everyone would be modern and stuff, but really, Florida is like kind of weird. It's kind of like the South. if you know what I'm talking about when I say the South, we're talking about the South of the United States. Those of you who may not be aware, but the South behaves a certain way. And the South, like for example, when you go to court and stuff, normally people wear suits and get dressed, but here, people show up in t-shirts and jeans. You know, that's what they do in the courthouse. That's still going on now in 2020. Like you show up at court and people are wearing jeans and a t-shirt. They look like they're dressed for Walmart. But that's how things are here in Brevard County, the Space Coast. We're going over a major road called Wickham. Wickham Road runs, it's kind of weird because like Wickham Road runs east and west, I mean not east and west, north and south, yet we're on I-95 which goes north and south. So tell me how that works. Wickham Road, which we just crossed over, runs north to south throughout Brevard County. Well, most of Brevard, half of Brevard County. So Wickham Road runs north and south, north to south, but I-95 runs north to south, yet we just crossed over it. Perpendicular. Wickham Road was perpendicular to I-95. Oh, by the way, Paul, if you happen to catch this video, I want to thank you for your membership that you sent through PayPal. I'm going to go ahead and make a chit for you so that you'll be eligible for the drawings. Also wanted to remind everybody that tonight is the night of the Florida Powerball Lotto drawing for $277 million. So right now, we've got about, I think, 7 people who are members. So you're going to be entered into that drawing automatically. If we end up winning $1,000 or less, I'll be giving it to one person. We'll do a drawing for that. If we actually, miraculously, but you know, miracles do happen. If we end up winning the entire lotto, then we're going to split it up with the members. Right, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about membership, basically this channel is now opened up a membership section to try to show YouTube that it's profitable. I'm concerned that YouTube might be deleting channels that aren't making money soon. So we opened up a membership section. I set it so that people can join for as low as 99 cents. That's the lowest YouTube would let me set. So you can join for 99 cents on up to $19.95 or $19.99 or whatever. Everybody there is treated the same. It's just some people are choosing to pay more just because they want to support me. By the way, for those of you who may not be from America or are familiar with Florida, this is what I-95 pretty much looks like throughout Florida. I think it's even the same with I-75 and I-4. It's like, you'll notice there's nothing, just trees on the side. And when you drive through Florida, if you've never been here and you come here, you go, what the heck? The view looks the same 1 or 2 or 3 hours later. You could drive down I-95, and other than a few little tiny changes, 90% of the road looks exactly like this. There's nothing but a straight road and trees on the side. Yes, Snow Beaver says perpendicular means 90 degrees for those who don't know. I think he's referencing the roads crossing when they're both supposedly running north to south. It's like you really have to look at a map to see how they did it, but I'm like, how can the road be running north to south and be perpendicular? Both roads are north to south and perpendicular to each other. A lot of times, if you've been following my videos for any length of time, then you know that I cover like mostly Brevard because that's where I'm staying, or you know, I have been staying most of the time, the majority of the time. But you can see that Brevard County by any stretch of the imagination, is a huge county. Not so much wide, but long. And there's different sections of it that look like totally different areas. So right now we're going through a city called Melbourne. Good morning, Chris. So we're going through Melbourne, which you see me do a lot of stuff here in Melbourne. Coming up here is O'Galley Causeway, which is the to the right here. We're heading south on I-95. So this is O'Galley Causeway on the right here, the next exit, which is going out of focus for some weird reason. All right, so this is O'Galley exit, which on this exit, if you take a right-hand exit, you'll find the flea market. There's a huge flea market here that used to be open door, but lately they've been closing up they've been putting walls up on the various rows and running air conditioning to the vendors. So it's starting to look less. I'm gonna try to tilt the camera so you can see it. This is a flea market here on the right-hand side. You can see it's pretty packed. Not fully packed because it's so early in the morning. Most people probably won't show up till like 10, 11 o'clock. But that's the flea market that you sometimes see me going through. For those of you who visit Florida and hang out at Disney and stuff, the next road that's coming up is US 192. It is the road that connects Melbourne, the city of Melbourne and Melbourne Beach, to Orlando. Actually, it connects to Kissimmee. A lot of people who aren't here, they say Kissimmee and they pronounce it Kissimmee. Kissimmee. But it's actually Kissimmee. So I don't know if you saw the sign that said exit 192. Actually, this isn't exit 192. This is a new exit they put on. One of the weird ones that I was telling you about. So you can see, like, to merge onto northbound, instead of coming out on the north side of the bridge, it loops around on the south side. And then you got to merge into this traffic, which is like messed up. It's weird. I don't even know why they did that, other than to possibly make an accident. So coming up is the exit for 192. This road you see me drive on when I was heading down to the Veterans Administration down in Orlando. So this is a road you often see me traveling on that looks like it's got nothing but cows. Also, if you've ever seen me at the huge Goodwill, there's a Goodwill right here on the left, right when you take the exit. You take the exit and you go under the bridge, and the Goodwill is right behind the racetrack gas station. I think it's racetrack. So there's a Waffle House, but across the street from the Waffle House is the Goodwill that you sometimes see me hang out. And that's where I sometimes buy some of the stuff that I get, some good bargains. We are now almost out of Brevard County. We're currently traveling through Melbourne, getting ready to hit Palm Bay. Palm Bay is where the compound is located. Palm Bay is like really, I think it used to be looked down as one of the poorer side of Brevard County. The houses here are cheaper than elsewhere. But lately they've been building up Palm Bay, so it's been looking kind of fancy. And they put some really expensive houses down in the southern part of Palm Bay. It's like, I don't know why cities do this, but what they do is they'll have a really poor side of town. They'll have an extremely poor side of town. And then they'll sell land to a developer who will put up really expensive housing right next to the poor side. So I don't know if they just did it because they bought the land there and it was cheap, or if they're trying to get rid of the poor side. I don't know. I do know, like, the Bayside Lakes and all those areas here in South Palm Bay, they were built in an area that used to be extremely poor, you know, the poor part of the county in Palm Bay. And now they have some of the more expensive areas there, Bayside Lakes. but it's also the area near, like, near the compound, which is that 200 miles of roadway for that housing development that never got built. So this road that we're getting ready to cross again, okay? This road that we're going under right here, this is Wickham Road. Yeah, that's Wickham Road, but they renamed it. When you cross 192, they renamed Wickham Road Minton Road. So it's the same road. Remember the road that runs north to south, just like I-95? We crossed it, and then it continued running, and it crossed again. So how does that happen? Both roads are parallel, and yet we crossed it twice. But you know, the first time we crossed it, it was called Wickham Road. The second time they renamed it to Minton Road, but it's exactly the same road. This is the main Palm Bay exit. It's just Palm Bay Road. And what's interesting is, see, it says Palm Bay on the side here. We're actually still in Melbourne, a city called West Melbourne. But right when we cross this road, we enter Palm Bay. For those of you who are Harley fans, there's a Harley Davidson dealership here. It's huge. So right there, that big building you saw there is the Harley Davidson. It's just all located right off I-95. So if you're into motorcycles, into Harley Davidson, you might be able to Google it. Sometimes they host like events. They host like hangout events and stuff for the cyclists. Snow Beaver must be a mathematician. So for those of you who don't understand, parallel is like railroad tracks. They run alongside each other. Perpendicular is like a plus sign. You know, they cross at an intersection. So the fact that I-95 and Wickham Road, I keep saying Wickham Park, Wickham Road are parallel means they're supposed to run alongside each other because they're both heading north and south. Yet, on this drive alone, I crossed over Wickham Road twice. I crossed over Wickham Road at Vieira, and I crossed over Wickham Road, which has been renamed at this point to Minton Road, in Palm Bay. Well, not Palm Bay, but West Melbourne still. So it's like magic. All right, this used the road by the Walmart where I used to work. This is the exit of the Walmart where I used to work. It looks like the channel is losing broadcast. We're getting spotty reception here, so my apologies that it might have cut out some of the stuff here. But this is a Palm Bay, the second Palm Bay exit, and I think they added a third one, which is new. But if you ever wondered where the locations were, this is where I used to work. There's a Walmart right here at this exit. That's the location of the Walmart when I kind of lived at the compound. You guys remember those days when I was hiding out in the hut? So I kind of lived in the compound and kind of in the parking lots. So I was actually working at that Walmart and would just live in the... But here's the interesting thing. I did not live in the Walmart parking lot of the Walmart I was working at. I didn't want them to question me. You know, it's crazy, but when you're living out of a vehicle, a car or a van, people might not want to hire you or give you a funny look or cause trouble because you don't have a real residence. You don't have sticks and bricks. So, you know, I kept using my old address from when I first got here to Brevard County from South Florida. I had some friends that let me use their address, their housing address. And I used their address as for my driver's license and for mail, any legal mail. Because when the mail went to their house, they would, you know, call me and say, hey, you got mail, come pick it up. So that's how you handle, or how I handled having an address. I basically use somebody's address that they let me use. And then when mail shows up, you know, they contact me. Now, you might be wondering what the legality of that is. It's perfectly legal. Like, even when you go to apply for your license, you can let them know that's where you get your mail. You can let them know you're homeless, so you don't have a permanent address, but if they send mail there, you'll be able to get it. And they'll take that listing, you know. So you're not really breaking the law. You're actually legally allowed to. I mean, if you're homeless, you don't have an address. So, you know, the address that you have is basically where you can get your mail. That way, if they need to reach you for any reason, they can legally. But that's how I did my address. And living in the parking lots, I would live in various parking lots, including Walmart, but not the same one that I was working at. And the reason for that was, you know, Walmart has like cameras on their parking lot, and I didn't want them to see me living in their parking lot and working there. So I would live at a different Walmart or out at the compound in the woods, just hiding out there. And some of you might think that hiding out in the compound is ideal, which it can kind of be, but believe it or not, the police knew I was out there. The Palm Bay police, they know me. They know me for bad things. But also, you know, they were the ones who went out there and caught me out there. And they told me if I needed any assistance to call them and they would come running. But also, from time to time, because I think bad people hide out there. They think that the compound, because it looks isolated, is isolated, but it's not. It's like right next to the city. And the Palm Bay police patrol it. They don't go through all the roads because it's not really accessible. But if there's an emergency, they'll go through there. But they do have, remember the Skymen that I was talking about in previous episodes in the show, where the men basically have a parachute and then they strap a motor to their butt, basically. So they mount a motor to their back and their butt, and then they have a parachute and they fly. Those are the people I call the Skymen. So, you know, you can look for those episodes. But basically, one of those Skymen is actually the police. You know, the police send Skymen up there to patrol the compound. So they're looking for anything weird, like, you know, people growing drugs out there or something, or people hiding out from the law. But I had built a humongous hut. I mean, it was like huge. It was like, my estimate is probably about 400 square feet, maybe 300 or 400 square feet house. I built out in the woods. So I built it out there, and you could see it from the sky because there was no way to hide it. So the Skymen would come by and check me out, and then the police would come by and check me out, and then occasionally the sheriff's department would show up with their helicopters. And you're like, so what happened? Usually, well, actually not usually, pretty much every time, they would show up and circle the hut. You know, the police helicopter or the sheriff's helicopter, and I would come out and wave at them. Then they would give me a thumbs up, and then they'd take off. So the police knew I was out there, but they left me alone. So those of you who are wondering what happens if the police catch you out in the compound, well, if you're not someone they're looking for, most of the time, at least in my experience, they just left me alone. Matter of fact, they probably knew me. A lot of cops watch this channel. So they gave me a thumbs up. All right, that was a new ramp that they just built. I don't know. I think it's open now. I just saw a car go up it. I think this is the southernmost ramp that you can exit I-95 from to get into Brevard County now. This is a brand new road. I think it goes to the St. John's Heritage Parkway, which was like a new road that's supposed to run parallel. That means like a railroad track to I-95. Because prior to that, the only roads you really had was I-95, US 1, and Wickham Road. And Wickham Road stops at a certain point. Now they've got a major road called Heritage Parkway. It's still not finished, I think, but it runs through most of Brevard County, and it's a pretty decent-sized road. It basically runs through the fields that used to have cows, and you can still see some of the remnants of the cows. I mean, not dead cows, but they're still alive. The farmer there made so much money, the guy who owned all that land. So we are like pretty much leaving Brevard County. I think we're going through Grant. The Grant is known for what they call the Grant Seafood Festival. The road looks like now. It's going to be pretty boring, so I'm probably going to sign off here in a minute, but we've left the city in a sense because it's like a little rinky-dink town, and it's called Fellsmere. Fellsmere is like this, I don't think I've ever even seen the city of Fellsmere, but I think Fellsmere might be like only a couple buildings, but they do have an exit for it where you can stop at McDonald's. So when I think of Fellsmere, what's that TV show that you used to run? I think it ran in the 60s, but I used to watch reruns of it. It goes, what is Green Acres? I think Fellsmere is like Green Acres. It's like the middle of nowhere. And I know what they do at Fellsmere. I think that's where, honestly, I think Fellsmere is where a lot of the fruit live. You know, Florida has like oranges and other things that it grows, and they use, I don't know, Guatemala, I think mostly, some Mexicans, but those are the fruit pickers. And I know a lot of people, you know, some people, I'm not going to get too political, but I'll just let you know the reality of it is this. A lot of people are anti-foreigners coming here, but a lot of those foreigners are what provides the